Hello everyone, it's Amy and I'm here. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek at what this is going to look like when we're done, and then we'll get on to finishing building it. So here we go. This is what it's going to look like. And now we'll get back to building. Okay, I'm back, and we are now going to start putting some dividers in our box. The one thing that I did do was here on this edge, they had the flaps. This was the bottom of the box, so you had two going this way and then two going this way. I did glue these down and then put a little masking tape on them, and I put a book on them and let them sit like that until they were dry, because that glue is going to make your box even sturdier. So this is our box. I'm going to tip it this way. Our top is here with the 4-inch top. We've got our nice angle and then our 2-inch front. And what I did was I went around all of the edges with the masking tape. And then when we get ready to decorate it, we can go around all of these edges with our homemade washi tape and to decorate that up a little bit. But for right now, I just did this to get rid of the edging, you know, the holes in your cardboard, and just to make everything a little bit sturdier. I'm not doing much at all on the inside because I don't want to decorate the inside. So I have a little bit of edging here with my tape, but the rest of it I want to try and leave natural. I like that better. And I did save my top. And here is our top. And I did put masking tape around this whole thing too, because I think that I am going to put this back on here. And we will tape it across here. And then we will fold it open. I know it's very close, but we'll fold it open like this and tape it across here so that it will be actually kind of like a roll top desk, and then our desk will look a little bit like this. So this top section, you'll be able to set papers you're working on and that type of thing, just like temporary stuff up on the top, and be using your things inside. And then when you're done, you take the temporary stuff off of this top ledge, and then you fold this back down again. And we're going to do that towards the end. We're not going to do that right now because it'll just kind of be there and be a little bit in the way. But that's what we're going to do at the end. So I want to let you know we kept that top and reinforced it with the masking tape. So now it's time to find out what kind of dividers we want to put inside. I do think that I'm going to make a couple of paper boxes out of cereal boxes to hold paper that's going to go on either side of this box. So I don't think I'm going to store paper inside of this. This is for my smaller things. The box that I took apart from the vacuum cleaner had like this to hold the vacuum cleaner where it was, and I really like this L right here. It's kind of deep, and I think that would be really nice for like scissors and pens and pencils. And then I also like this one here because they'll fit, I think, nicely back in a corner or even in a front corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right across here, and I'm going to cut this right across here and here, and then I'm going to hang on to those to see if they fit somewhere in our configuration of this box. And then I'm also going to go find some smaller boxes, and I'll be back and we'll kind of see how we can fit things in here. Okay, so this is the original little box that I pulled out to start keeping my things in, and it got full really quick. So this is the part that I said I was going to try and cut out. There was two of them. I cut this one out. I'm not super happy with it. I'm going to keep it here for right now. I'm not going to cut the other one out. It was quite difficult to cut. I did have to use the razor knife to cut it. Scissors didn't want to touch it at all. And if you force your scissors on something like that, when you're trying to cut at the back and they're not wanting to cut, what will happen is your scissors will split right here. They will bend apart and you'll ruin your scissors. So I didn't even, after I knew that it wouldn't work, I tried it, I didn't even push it. So, but what I did, another piece that was in the vacuum cleaner box was this piece here, and it has these supports on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right along here, and use that as a shelf inside. I'm not positive if I will leave this divider in here or not, but I think I may. I have my 5 little bowls that I had got at the Dollar Tree when we made our glue, and I do want someplace to put my glue. So what I am going to try and do is build 5 shelves here, just this size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where these bowls will just slide into each shelf separately, so that you can just grab it and pull it out without having to unstack them. So I'm going to get together some cardboard to do that. And I am going to cut this piece apart, and if I cut it right next to this strip, which is right on that fold, I'll be able to attach this strip to the back. And then also I will need supports on the side, and I'm hoping to support it on this side with what I build to hold those, and this will go right in this area. So I will get some supports cut and everything, and then I will be back to show you how we're going to put it all together. Okay, so I've measured my bowls, and I have decided that I want the width of my shelves to hold the bowls to be 5 inches, because the bowls are approximately 4 3/4 inches wide. So I want that extra 1/4 of an inch to just give me a little wiggle room. And then the bowls tall are almost, they're 1 3/4, almost 2 inches tall. So that would be, I'm going to do 2 1/4 inches on each side, so that there's just a little bit of space again. So if we go 2 1/4 inches up, we're going to fold this shelf, so we want the whole dimension, 2 1/4 inches by 5 inches by 2 1/4 inches. That's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 2/4 make a half. So 9 1/2 inches is how long I'm going to make this piece of cardboard to fold into our shelf. It's going to be 9 inches long, and we already know that our bowl itself is 5 inches wide, so the depth of our shelf is going to be 5 inches, and then our 9 inches is going to go over the shelf and down the sides to actually make the next shelf. So we need 9 by 5 on our cardboard. I need to get this closer so you can see. The ridges are running this way. This is the way that we want to cut our 9, so that when we fold it, the 2 1/2 inches here, those are going to be running up and down. And that's going to give you your strongest cardboard running up and down versus doing it this way where it could squish. So we want 9 inches this way by 5 1/2 inches, or by 5 inches this way, and 9 1/2 by 5, and we need 5 of them because we have 5 bowls. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut 5 pieces, 9 1/2 by 5, and I'm going to try and avoid like bad spots like this. So I'm going to cut that off, and we'll need to put a piece of cardboard underneath like this. You don't want to forget that. I don't want to cut my tablecloth. Although this is just a plastic tablecloth that I always put out when I am crafting. I got it at a second-hand store. I always keep my eyes open out for the plastic tablecloths when I go to garage sales and second-hand stores, because they make a great drop cloth that's reusable. Even when they get yucky looking, they still work great. They protect your surfaces, and you can wipe things off of them. They just work really great as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so we've got our nice edge there. So now we're going to need 5 inches. Don't forget, when you are using your ruler, there's always a little extra piece right there. So when you line it up, you have to line it up at this little line right here. Don't line it up at the edge of your ruler, or otherwise you've got an extra, almost an extra 1/8 of an inch there. All right, so 5 inches. I almost always make 3 marks, because then I know if one is off, I can tell right away. If per some chance you went to mark at 5 and you marked it for some reason 4 3/4, if you have 3 marks, you're going to see that because one will be way off. If you only have 2, you might make your line crooked like that, not knowing that it's crooked. So I'm going to line up with those 3 lines, and I'm going to cut my 5 inches here. And I did not lock my knife, and see what just happened. It just slid way out. There we go. I did that on purpose just so that you could see how that would happen. I'm going to move this over a little bit because I was really close to the edge of my cardboard. And the reason that I look for my my plastic tablecloths at secondhand stores and garage sales is because the nice heavy ones with the heavy felt on the back work the best. I have bought them at the Dollar Tree before, and they're just very, very thin. Okay, so now we need this to be 9 inches tall. I'm going to make a mark. 9, nope, 9.5. And see, I actually just marked that at 10. That's why I do 3 marks. Because if I do, for some reason, make a mistake, the 3rd mark usually will tell you. Usually only make the mistake once, and the other 2 times will be right. So we want 9.5. So that's where we're going to cut this one. Keep your fingers back. Not quite. Okay, so now this is our 9.5 inches. Yep, 9.5 inches by 5. And what we're going to do now is we're going to score at 2 1/4 and 2 1/4, and then we're going to fold it to make our shelf. 2 1/4. Mark this end before I do my scoring. And you don't have to do 3 marks. It's just something that I like to do so I don't wind up with something that's crooked. Because for some reason, I can tend to measure things wrong quite often. Okay, I'm just going to use the back side of my scissors to put a score line in here. They're a little wider than that fork that we used, so it's not cutting into the cardboard. It's putting more of a score line than the fork did. And I'm just pushing and holding it very flat so that the point doesn't dig in. Whoops, I moved. Okay, so now we are going to fold this, and we are going to fold this. We got a little snap here because this is cardboard, but that's okay. We will go ahead and we will put some masking tape on there to reinforce it. So this is our shelf. This is going to, let me see if I can, this is going to sit inside our box, just like this. And then all of our bowls, one bowl there, one bowl here. So we will cut more of these, and then we will stack them right on top of each other. We will tape them together and reinforce them and glue them. So I'm going to cut 4 more of these so that I have 5 total, and then I will be back. Okay, so I have cut all 5 pieces for my 5 bowls. I've scored and snapped them all. I have taped the first 3 together, and I am going to show you how I tape these together. Just get a piece of tape that's approximately as long as your shelf, and then I do it by taping to the little flap, which will be your upright on your shelf. I tape to this first, approximately half of my masking tape, and then I fit it, and do it this way, kind of fit it into that little snapped portion, line it up, now this one's going to want to stick out a lot, so I'm actually, instead of fitting it into the snap portion, I'm going to kind of fit it on top, because I do want my cardboard to be as flat as possible. The one that I had here did fit, but it just depends on how wide that little snappy groove is. So then again, for the other side, I'm going to get a piece that's approximately as wide as my shelf. I'm going to put it on the flat part first, flap the smaller part, and then I'm going to see if that fits in to the little snap section. And that side does, so that's going to kind of go in there. Line it up front to back this way, make sure you're lined up, and then press that down. So there's 4. We have 1 more to go. And these bottom flaps flip out, but that's going to be okay because we're going to take care of that. And it is a little bit wobbly, but we'll also, it's going inside a solid box. So now the one thing I want to do is I'm going to put this inside my box and see how tall it is. Because I did want to put a shelf across. Okay, this is as far as I want to go for right this second, because I want to put a shelf across and I want it to rest on top of here because it will give me stability. So I'm going to put these 4 together. After we put the shelf across the top of here and across the rest of the box, then we will put this one on top of that shelf and tape it in. But in order to help secure this, as this fits into my box, I'm going to look and see which side I think looks like the front. Make sure I push that masking tape together there. And it's a little bit cattywampy, and that's okay, because you know, we're not a factory, we're not a big machine making this, we're just us, so it doesn't matter, it's going to work perfectly. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to cut a cardboard the size of this side to tape and glue on here. Then this side will be up against my box, and that is what's going to help hold it straight. So I need to measure. Now this should be 5, and it is. That's 5. Okay, in order to go to the, I want to go right to the top of this shelf, not this little edge here, but right to the top of this shelf. And so from there, I'm going to hold it kind of flat. From there to the bottom is 9 inches. So I'm going to cut a piece 5 by 9, and I am going to set it right on here. I'm going to glue it with our tacky glue, tape it with some masking tape along the edges, and then I am going to like prop it up and put a heavy book on it. So we need 5 by 9. I'm going to cut a piece like that. And that one, it doesn't matter to me. Which way my corrugation goes, because I'm running out of board. And you know, if you can always have, whenever you've got something standing up, if you can have your corrugation on up and down where it's standing up, that's always your strongest. But if you don't have enough cardboard, that's all right, then just, and I know that this shelf is 5, so I'm going to use this shelf to just go ahead and make my line. Except I do believe that these shelves were 9.5, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they're 9.5, so I can't use that for my upright. I'm going to need to measure 9. And I did use my first shelf to trace around and make all of my other shelves. But the one thing, whenever you do that, if you use something as a template, you have to make sure that you use the same one as a template. Don't make a template and don't trace around a shelf and then the next time trace around the next shelf and the next time trace around the next shelf, because what will happen is each time you'll get just a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and by the time that you're done, you're going to have some really definite different sizes. So if you do want to use, I don't really care to measure that much, so I measure my first one, and then if I need a bunch more, I am going to just use that same one, put an X on it. I knew that that was my template because I had already scored and broke it. So when I did the rest, I cut them all, and then I scored them after they were all cut, so that I knew I was using the one that was already scored. So I knew that that was my template. So we're just going to cut this. It's just because we're going to use this to store things. We want it to be as sturdy as possible. And this really will last a really long time. I also make a lot of boxes, storage type boxes, out of, now make sure, because I didn't do this last time, make sure that you shut your knife when you're done with it and then lock it. And we're going to put this on here with our tacky glue. We're going to hold it up there. It fits very nicely. And then this is going to be nice and solid on this side, and it's going to give us something solid to rest our shelf on. So I'm going to glue this on, and then I'm going to put some tape around the edges in each one of these spots to hold it. And then I'm also going to set my big library book on it, or my big dictionary book on it, for a little while to hold that all together and give it time to dry before I put it up. It'll make it a lot sturdier if you let it dry first. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Really quick, so that I don't forget to tell you, this box is really shiny, and so don't forget to sand it before you try and glue it. The glue doesn't want to stick very well to such a shiny surface, and paint doesn't really like to stick to a super shiny surface either. So whenever you have a shiny surface, just go ahead and sand it first, because we want to get the best hold that we possibly can. So there we go. And then after you sand it, make sure that you wipe off. Your t-shirt works good for that. Make sure that you wipe your sanding off and your sanding dust. I've got a little bit of tacky glue on here, and now I'm going to line this up and get it on there well. But I just wanted to really quick tell you that. Okay, I'll be back after this gets dry. I also wanted to show you quick how I'm going to tape this. I put it on there with my glue. It's a little bit long. I put the long part on the bottom so I can trim it later. I wanted the top lined up really well so that it gives us some nice support for the shelf we're going to put on top of there. But the way that I tape this is to tape the whole thing at once instead of trying to do each little pocket. Put it on your flat side, not quite half, because you've got to go on here and then across the front of both pieces. Put it like that. We're going to roll it forward. Okay, and then the only thing that I do is I just snip on each side of that cardboard like this, and then just roll this down. Oops, I didn't snip here. Like that. And I want to show you how to do, whenever you have a corner come together where your tape hangs off, snip it at the fold, and then you can fold one piece down and fold the other piece over. So that way it gives you a nice corner there where your masking tape goes. And these ones you can either snip them off or you can just leave them there. So, okay, now I'll be back when it dries. Okay, I'm going to do this handheld, so I hope it's not too shaky. I went ahead and I glued the 5 by 9 inch solid piece to hold our shelves together more sturdily, and if that's a word, and I put glue underneath the shelves here and glued the shelves to the wall. So I'm going to turn it this way, and so this is what it looks like now. I also have cut, to get that piece, I've cut a shelf to put here before I put the final piece of our little shelving unit there. So I've cut this shelf here, but we'll need a support over here. So what I did was, this was 5 by 9, so I know that what I need is 5 by 9. So I've went ahead and cut a 5 by 9 piece, sanded it, and it's going to go against this wall here. And then as soon as I'm done with this videoing, I will flip this up and set my book right on top of there so that it dries good and solid. That's the biggest thing, is get everything to dry good and solid. So we've got that going on. I'm going to put some kind of a small support right here, and I think I still might use, I think that I might use this. I may cut this support off right here and put that, oops, right up there like that to hold the shelf. So just to give it a little extra support, and that way it won't bow. And then after I get the shelf on there, oops, I can set it there now. See how it sets nicely up there? We've got this little bit of the shelf here. So when we go to put our next, which I don't know what I did with it. When we go to put our next support up here, like this, the next shelf like this, what I will have to do is on this side, where the flap comes down on this side at the top, I will have to cut off. This looks like it's about 1/4 of an inch, so I'll need to measure this and cut it off the bottom of our final shelf that's going to sit up here. So this side will sit here, but this side will sit up just a little bit higher. So we don't want our shelf to be all crooked, so we'll cut this much off of the support that comes down, and then it will be even. So I am going to go ahead and get this on good and solid, and then I'm going to take I'm going to cut off just this part here, because that's really good and sturdy, and that's going to go in there to hold up the shelf like that. And then I will glue the shelf onto the support. I will glue the shelf over here onto the support, and at the end onto the wall. I will glue the shelf here, and then I will put the other piece on top. So I'm going to go ahead and let all of this glue parts dry, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got everything glued together, and I think that I have all of the different compartments and dividers that I want to put in here at this time. And I have my shelves for my bowls. I have 2 bowls on the bottom. These 2 are empty. There's my glue. There was just enough room on top to fit my masking tape, and I put my sandpaper. Because I put 2 of these together, I had room to put my sandpaper there and my knife. And then I've got the shelf on top, this big space in the middle, and I am going to still keep the little divider that I had already made, and that's going to fit right in here. And I think I'm going to put it like this, so that I have this long space on this side. If I don't like that, I can always put this over here, and that will give me an L-shaped space over there, but I think I like it like this. And I can put my water in there, and I can put my little glass jars that I made in here. And then I'm going to rearrange some of this, possibly put, some of it up on the shelf. And I think actually I want to put my glues over here also. So we'll do it like that, and then I'll do a little bit more figuring out exactly what I want where. But so this is my faux roll top desk, and I will also be taking the top that I cut off and taping it up here like this, and then it will still need to be decorated, but I'm going to hold off for now on decorating it. So after I get the top put on and I get things rearranged the way that I like them, I'll come back and show you one last time. Okay, so here it is. This is my faux roll top box, and I have added to the end, I added a box here to hold my papers because there's no place really good inside of this box to hold papers. So I've added that on. One thing that I am going to do before I decorate it is I'm going to get a solid piece of cardboard to go all the way across the bottom, incorporating both boxes. I have glued this box right to the back side of here, but picking it up, they're both still separate on the bottom, so I want a nice solid piece across the bottom, so when I pick it up to move it, it won't be kind of loose on this end down here. So this is where I'm going to keep my papers, and I have just the things that I've got so far with our Build Your Stash and Craft, except for this ring binder, and that's because this ring binder is my weekly, what I'm doing and what's coming next and what I need to pick up, so that's in there. This is the top off of this box that I cut, and it's kind of a nice little box. I might be able to use it as a divider. I also might make it into some kind of a, where it would fit on here like this to hold my papers in so that they won't go anywhere, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I kept that. In the back, I have my homemade washi tape, and then here's what our box looks like. Ready? Voila. Open it up. And there we go. I've attached the two here so that now I have that top part. Now that top part would be just for setting things while you're working and everything. And then when you want to put it away, you just take everything off of there and shut your box. So, but nicely, the paper towel fits up there very nice, and I put my parchment up there too so that they're up out of the way. And if you're painting papers, you can set those up there as you go. On the shelf, I have all of my paints and my nail polish. I have my masking tape on the top, my glue bowl. I have a bowl full of the paper clips, and then I just have an empty bowl. And then I have my staples, what do you call it, sandpaper, and one of my knives. And then I have two of the bowls here. That's why that one does not have a bowl in it. But since I wasn't using them and the sandpaper fit in there really well, I wanted to put that in there. On the side here, I have my rulers. And what I did for that was I opened up the paper clip and straightened out the one end and stuck it right back into the corrugation with a little bit of glue. And then that just leaves this part sticking out like that. And so then I just took my rulers, oops, and put those in there like that. That holds them so that they're all together there. And because they're 12 inches, my box is only 11.5, so they don't fit this way. Because I have things in the front, they don't fit this way, but I thought that was a perfect place for them. I have my original box that I started out with when I started this series, and so I just have a few things in there. Some oatmeal tops, and oh, I told you I would show you what I did with these. And these can be used to stencil, but I did cut one with points. I cut one every other one. I cut one every other two. And I left one solid because I thought that might look cool. I'll have to see what that looks like. So I have those in there. And I have my little paper clips that I made. the fun foam, a few extra pieces of fun foam. These few stamps right here would not fit. I found this little box. Let's take that out. It was a Cheez-It box, and it was exactly the same size as these. So I cut that out and put those in there, and that fits perfectly right in that spot. I'll have to get another one, though, that I can put right here because I've already got a few stamps that don't fit. I did keep this piece that I had cut out to put all of my paintbrushes, my scissors, my pens, my strong glue, and then I have the jars that I made that I can put stuff in, and then I have my glues. Back here I have my 2 extra because the utility knives came in a pack of 3, but I only want to have one out at a time so that I use that one till it's gone. So I just left the package back there with the other 2 in it. So this is the completed and filled faux roll top desk, so that I can fold it up and I can move it away, and I don't have to specifically find a spot for it where it will stay forever like if I had bought the other roll top desk. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.